Welcome to GameRomp Easy Mode with your host David
and Deanna.
Now, this is going to be a pretty easygoing podcast where we talk about games.
Gonna try and keep it chill.
Yeah, not a lot of loud noises, not a lot of surprises.
I'll try to keep my excitement in control.
Yeah, we want this to be something that we can listen to when we're just chilling or even falling asleep. And just talk about what we want to talk about for like half an hour, a little bit more.
Okay, so let's start with the first thing, which is what we've been playing this week. Do you want to go or should I go?
Go ahead, sweetie.
So this week I've been playing mostly Stardew Valley, although, I only play like a couple of days at a time. So right now when did I start? I believed I started, when did the update come out?
That was quite a while ago, wasn't it?
I think last month. Yeah, sometime in March. And I'm like only halfway through Fall 1. So I'm taking it very slowly.
That's fine. I mean, it's a chill game. You're supposed to take it pretty...
I know, but usually people can be like, oh, I'm going to play Stardew Valley. Then like 5 hours later, and I'm like, I'm going to play Stardew Valley. And I last like 2 days. Anyways.
I think that's a pretty good pace, honestly. I mean,
I guess we'll see. So, so in the middle, maybe about the half point in fall, you get the Grange display competition.
Oh, yeah, so, with where you can put Lewis's underwear.
I mean, if you're a freak that wants to keep Lewis's underwear for like 3 months, sure.
That's just what I know.
Have you done that?
Stardew to me is just like a game about farming and a game where the calendar is marked up with what different things you can do with Lewis's underwear.
That's okay, sure. I didn't. My middle piece was just a normal looking diamond, a giant diamond. Anyways, so I went up. So you go up against Pierre, Marnie, and Willie. The fish guy.
Sure.
You know all those people, right?
Yeah, I know. I just don't know who competes. It's been a while.
Okay, well, it's those other 3 people, and you get the second Grange. Anyways, I go to the carnival festival area, and I know, like, once you finish the Grange display, or at least what I thought I knew, is that when you finish the display, that's the last thing that happens, and then you go home. So as many times as I've gone through this game, or at least the first year of the game, I can never remember exactly how the festival works. So this time I come in, I have all my items that I'm going to put on the display, and you get a nice variety. So I have the diamond, I have purple quality eggs as animal products, and then a vegetable and a fruit and a fish, and etc., etc. So I go around and I play the games, and I enjoyed the games. Like, the fishing game is, takes a little less than a minute, 2 minutes. And you get, like, a ton of points, and it becomes, like, a lot of star tokens or whatever they give you as prizes. And then you go and buy the prizes.
Mm-hmm.
So I go through the games. I play all the games. I even do the little gambling game where it's, like, a 50-50 chance of whether it's green or orange. And I finally get enough stars to buy all the items in the store thing that I want. Like, the only thing I didn't buy was the hat, because it's like a fedora or some shit. And then I get to the Grange, and Lewis walks around, and he comes back and is like, I won. I was like, awesome. I won the competition against Pierre, basically, because poor Marnie and Willie, it doesn't matter with them. It's you and Pierre, basically. And not only did I get first place, I got a score of 100, which is
perfect.
Out of 100. Yeah, it's a perfect score. So I'm like, holy shit, this is great. What's the prize?
More points.
Yes, 1,000 star points. And I'm like, I literally just bought everything. I won the thing. I got the achievement. and for basically nothing because I can't spend the points on anything else.
So you spent like the whole day like
Yes,
grinding fishing or something?
I grind the fishing game because the shooting game thing, the points they give is not that great. Like I can get almost 5 times more star points in the fishing game than I can the shooting game.
Gotcha.
And yes, like I got the star drop, which is like 2,000 points, and then a couple other items for a couple of grand. And yeah, so I won the competition, and it's basically for nothing because I can't spend the points I won on anything because I
Except
bought
the
it all.
fedora.
Yeah, I guess I bought the fucking fedora. So yeah, so that was the Grange display. So whatever. In other Stardew news, I've been hitting on Leah, Shane, Sebastian, and a little bit of Penny, but I don't actually have Penny. I actually have oh, what's the girl that eats the gems? The purple haired
Purple
girl.
hair girl. I don't know her
Yeah,
name.
God, I forget everyone's name. Anyways, I have her at a higher level than I have Penny, and I feel so bad. And like, I was thinking of
You
going.
already did Penny like every other playthrough, right?
No, I did Penny once, and then I went for Shane when that updated with him. I was thinking of going for Leah because like she's the artist.
Yeah, that's the one I picked.
But like the tricky part is Leah already has her own place to live, whereas like Penny's still stuck in the trailer with her mom. And like, okay, trailer doesn't matter. It's just a cozy, nice home. But she's with her mom, and her mom's maybe not like super abusive or anything. But
I have to admit, that's something I've never even considered.
that her mom's abusive.
No, like their prior living arrangements. Like everyone lives somewhere, but Leia lives alone. So I guess if you
Yeah, she's already got the little cabin thing. Same with the writer guy,
the writer guy.
long hair.
Oh yeah, Elliot.
Yeah, Elliot. That's
How
it.
I don't know how I remembered that.
But yeah, everyone's got their house except for Penny's kind of like half house. But I'm just more concerned about her living with her
Well,
mom.
Penny can move into Leia's house after she's done.
I guess you could make that into a head canon.
Yeah, that series is something I didn't never even get. Like when I played years ago, I ended up having Leia, and yeah, she moves in, and then like I guess her house just stays empty. I don't remember. That's probably what happens. We'll just say somebody else can move in there.
Yeah. Oh, and then here on my little sheet because I forget things. I was also thinking I could just get the polymod, polyamorous mod, and then I could just marry everyone.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I
I don't know
wouldn't
how
marry
that works.
everyone, but well, I think each spouse gets like their own little extra room,
Oh,
so
interesting.
it just increases the thing. But I also have another house mod already, so I'd have to see.
So your
if
house
it
would be kind of
integrates.
like one of those like old Viking row houses where it's just one long house.
If you want to look at that way, sure. I'd have to see how the mod sets it up and if it's been updated on all that kerfuffle, but
That's
yeah, that'd
funny.
be fun. I
Might
could
as
get
well, whatever.
Leah and Penny, and then for the two guys, I could get Shane and Sebastian. And I have
You're starting some like commune cult over there.
hey, you know what? I obviously would have invited Linus to live on my farm, like not necessarily in the
Oh yeah.
farmhouse because I know he doesn't like that. Like, there's the whole cutscene where he's like, "Oh, I'm glad you didn't invite me to your farmhouse, wink, wink, or whatever." And it was like, you don't have to live in the house if you don't want to. I just because he always, not always, but he's complained that like someone like throwing rocks at his tent or spray painting his tent, and he had to clean the, paint off it or
Yeah.
whatever. So like, just take your tent. You can still live in there. Just move it to my farm, so at least it's a safe place. Which people have argued that like maybe the falling rocks were actually from the train passing by. But
I don't know if I ever do go back to play Stardew, it's probably going to be because of like that big mod that adds like a bunch of characters and areas. Do you know what I'm talking about?
the Stardew Valley extended or whatever. Or
Yeah.
expansion.
I've heard that that's kind of interesting, but I've never really.
They have a few of those because I know there's like I don't know if it's called quite East Side or anything, but Yeah, there's a few of those.
Yeah, I'm always a fan of mods that add content like that to the game.
I mean, I guess, but now that this is like 1.6, there's also like the island that I've never been to before, which I think that was actually in 1.5.
I don't remember an island at all now, so I
Yeah, so
guess it
you
must be
get
new.
Ginger Island to explore.
Ginger as in like gingerbread? I don't know why I made that connection in my head.
Ginger as into like the little spice thing. The
Okay,
root.
that makes more sense.
Gingerbread
I don't
Island.
know. I was thinking like, oh, is there like a witch that lives there and is like in a gingerbread cabana or something?
No. Anyways, there's Ginger Island. I've never been there. Um, I don't even know how to get there. So you have that to explore. So like, I want to explore all that new stuff before I even put
Yeah,
in one of those
that's fair.
expansion mods.
That's fair. I remember being a little underwhelmed by the desert area. Like there wasn't
Yeah, the
really
desert
much there.
area is mostly for completing. It's QI. Is that key or chi? No, she's with the X. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but Mr. I'll just say call him Mr. Chi. I don't know.
Oh, I don't even know who that is. Is that a new character?
No, he's been in there since like the very beginning. It's like the guy. You have to do like little quests for him or something around the map, and then you go to like his casino or whatever.
Casino. Jeez, I don't remember that at all. I remember some lady at the desert.
No, that's Sandy. That's the friend of the blue hair girl, Emily, I think.
Wow. Clearly, it's been
Yeah, so
way too
you
long.
so look, you it's been too long. There's been two massive updates. You could play that before you even need the expansion mod.
Yeah, that's fair. The guy's been updating that game like crazy. Good for him, I guess.
Yeah.
Anything?
So I think that was basically my week. I mean, we did the Fallout thing, but I think we'd have more to talk about the show than the game.
Yeah, and I've only just started that. I think. Okay, so shall
Yeah.
I move on to mine?
Yeah, what have you been playing this week?
Mostly, I guess, still Unicorn Overlord.
Mm.
I have beat it, but now I'm playing like the additional difficulty that unlocks after you beat it. It's like, ooh, the super hard mode with the like it's not permadeath, but it has like a mechanic similar to it, like in Fire Emblem.
Mm.
But it's really not that, because like, okay, you have units, right? And you have like different characters in your units. Like it can be 3, 4, 5 characters in each one.
Mm.
And if a unit gets wiped out, they get like put into a quote unquote retreat mode, and you can't use them until you use a certain item on them. And it's fine. I've only had that happen to one of my parties so far, so it hasn't. I mean, I guess it's harder, but it's kind of harder in the way of like numbers are bigger. Like, oh, the boss this time has higher attack and higher HP instead of like different tactics that might make it harder.
Mm.
Which, I mean, I guess that's just the easier way to do it.
Yeah, because it's just like a multiplier.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, that's fine. I don't expect like all new rebalanced missions or whatever, but it's been fun. And one of the fun things that I like is just I get to try out new like team comps. Maybe putting together characters that weren't together last time. Because last time, yeah, I made some teams that are like super busted, and even this time, I have a few teams that are like, "Whoa, this team is really good and can take on almost anything." And it's always fun to just think about like, this character works really well with this character, and if I got this other character here supporting them to do this, and like to balance it out, it's just it's so fun. I love it.
Now I forget, does this game also have a thing where if certain characters are fighting together, they get like a relationship or something?
Yeah, they do actually. There's 2 levels to that. They all get, they call it rapport. I think that's how you pronounce it. And it's like, the more they fight together, the more they like trust each other, and they can like add little stat bonuses to each other, which isn't like huge, but yeah, it's got that. But some of the characters will actually have like little scenes amongst themselves, like, oh, these two are friends, or these two know each other from here, or these two are just having a fucking conversation about something. And some of them are really dumb, some of them are really cute, some of them are really good. It's a real mixed bag.
Mm.
But that is a nice thing about it too. And there's also like a gameplay benefit to it, because each one that you do that gives you a honor, which is another currency in the game that you use. So it's good to just make the people see who can be friends with each other and like pair them up, because it rewards you with honor and little cutscenes.
That's good. I mean, cutscenes are always fun.
Yeah.
Now, I know they've been. You might have complained about it too before, and others have complained that like the main story is not that great. Are these little scenes even better story than the main stuff?
Um, I think for some of them, there are like they still exist within their world. So there is that grand overarching story, and yeah, it's not like the most complex thing in the world. It's there are a few little surprises here and there which are interesting. Like I don't know how spoilery we want to get, but what appears to be straight up mind control or whatever at first tends to, should I just spoil it? It's just not, it's not really that big of a deal. I guess you could skip ahead.
If you haven't fallen asleep already.
It's not mind control. It's the bad guy is putting the souls of somebody else into their body from a previous civilization, so they're getting possessed. And it's this whole story of like this old civilization that's long died, and they want to come back, and that's why they are quote unquote they seem mind controlled, but they're really not. They're actually being controlled by a different thing. So it's kind of like,
That sounds like mind control with extra steps.
yeah, in a way, it's more like it's not so much mind control, more like being a vessel for somebody that's passed.
Weird.
Anyway, they don't really. It's an interesting idea, but they don't really go anywhere with it. So much as it's just a thing that it happens. There is like a gameplay mechanic to it later, where like the final boss will use that in a way to control your characters, but it's as long as you got the little MacGuffin, you can undo it. It's pretty easy.
MacGuffin?
Yeah, just there's a ring you get later on in the game. It's like use this against the final boss. They pretty much railroad you to get it. I don't know. I guess you could technically fight the boss without it. I haven't tried it because
So this boss has this magical power thing that he curses on you, but a magic ring can undo it.
yes, because the ring is divine and there's it's
Okay,
I
it's
mean,
fine.
I'm not gonna like tell you everything that happens, but yeah, it's not just a ring. There's stuff to it. Anyway, like I said, the story is not really that interesting. Some of the smaller stories that take place in the different areas are like you go to this other country that's been like taken over, and like, oh, the king there was murdered and their two sons have to figure out who's going to be the next king, and how does that work out? Does one of them, again, I'm thinking, oh god, how much do I spoil? It's like, does it matter? But the thing is, even though the grand overarching story is kind of the individual characters and their little stories can be pretty good and pretty entertaining. So yeah, sometimes you'll see how they are going through their own little stories, and that's gonna be kind of fun. Or when they have like the interactions with each other, like sometimes it's really silly, like, oh, here's the joke about the character who can't cook, and he's making bread, and it's like it's a rock, and people are like, no, don't eat it. There was there was one character that had like a nightmare about this other character making them food, and then he's like, no, I can't eat this, and she's like, eat it, I made it for you. And then like you see the main character come in from the other side of the map, and these are all just tiny little sprites, so it's kind of funny. And then the guy's like, Elaine, help me, she's got food, and he just looks, turns around and leaves.
He's like, I'm not dealing with
Yeah,
this.
it's like, this is not my problem.
No, please don't leave.
But so yeah, some of the little scenes are funny, and some of them are more like, people dealing with regret and what they've done, etc. So it's a real mixed bag. Some of them are good in funny ways, some of them are good in touching ways, and some of them are just kind of dumb. But that's okay because there's like,
Well, not everything can be 100% right.
and there's so many characters. Like, oh my god, there's so many characters. I think you can make you can make 10 teams with a maximum of 5 characters in each of them, right? And you'll still end up with more than you can use.
Damn.
So you just have to bench a bunch of them if you are recruiting most of them, because there are some that you can just flat out not recruit.
Have you recruited everyone?
There's only 2 I haven't recruited, and I didn't recruit it on my second playthrough either because they're kind of monstrous. Like, it's funny, some of the characters,
Like in their morals or just how
yeah,
they look?
yeah. It's kind of funny because like some of the characters, you can, after you fight them or whatever, you can like recruit them or you can execute them for some reason.
Oh, jeez.
And some of them it's like, oh, we, sure, we're fighting against you, but like it's because this other empire has taken over and they've been here for like, I don't know, like 10 years or so. So of course we're going to either be with them or we have been trampled, right? But it's like, no, I could just execute them if I want to and not recruit them. And then there's some that are like more monstrous. Like there are some characters like that feel like, okay, of course they're with the bad guys now because like the bad guys fucking they control everything. It makes sense that they've taken over the lands. This noble house has to work for them or be squashed. So yeah, it makes sense that they're working for them. But then you have other characters that are just like thieves or bandits, and some of them aren't too bad. But there's this one that they show like a cutscene of him basically killing like a bunch of town guards. And if you, after you beat him, you have the option of like putting him in jail or setting him free. And it's like, maybe if you just robbed some bread or something, but we literally watched you gleefully kill 5 people. If you don't let him go free and let him get away with that murder, you can't recruit him later. And so it's like, that's stupid. I don't want to.
So you just put him away.
Yeah, I was like, just go to jail. It's not even like executing. It's like, you're just going to go to jail. But if you do that, you can't get him or his friend, the archer, later. And then later you do meet up with that archer, his friend who's an archer, and they have a sob story. They're like, "Oh, my sister is sick, and we have to do this because we have to get medicine for her." But like, they only tell you this after they murdered those people and after they fight you. So it just feels like a sob story that they're telling you, like, "Oh, don't throw us in jail, don't kill us. We have this sob story." Can't even know if it's real. But then like you meet this archer dude, and he corroborates the story. It's like, "Yeah, my friend has a sick sister, and we're doing this because of him." And it's funny because, like, with him, he hasn't really killed anybody. He's holding this priestess hostage. But he hasn't killed anybody. But you can just straight up execute him.
What the that seems completely backwards.
It's really weird. Honestly, it's kind of silly, but whatever. The way you recruit or quote unquote spare or execute or not recruit some of these characters is kind of dumb. But
so have you executed anyone?
On this playthrough, actually, I did.
Any playthrough?
On my first playthrough, I didn't. I put that guy in jail, which doesn't count as executing him because he escapes, and you have to fight him later. And then later, you meet his archer friend, and I'm like, okay, fine. You're corroborating his story. I get it. Just leave. Get out of here. But this playthrough, I threw the guy in jail, and the other guy who didn't hurt anybody. You can't throw him in jail. You either execute him or set him free. So I executed him because the angel was there, and she's like, he held up the church and was threatening this priestess. You have to let me do divine justice on him.
Oh, jeez.
And I'm like, okay, go for it. So she rewards you with this currency, and you can use that currency to hire her early. And she is so strong in that early game. Like, I want you to think about this.
Was it worth killing someone who hadn't hurt anyone?
Think about this. In the beginning of the game, everyone gets 1 ability point and 1 passive point, right? Your ability point can be used for attacking, and the passive point can be used for like guarding or things like making your next attack be a 100% hit chance or like a reactive heal. But you basically get like 2 actions. She gets 4 ability points, 2 passive points. I gave her a thing that shows she can counter with her passive points. So in this part of the game, where most of my characters attack once, she's attacking twice and countering twice. So she's hitting things 4 times per battle, where everyone else is doing like 1.
Damn.
So yeah, if you hire her early, she is insanely good.
But still, now you have to be the monster of killing someone.
I didn't do it. She did it.
How is she an angel if she was such a monster?
I mean, have you seen what godly beings and angels do? They hold swords for a reason. And she used her sword pretty damn well. Anyway, it's been fun. I really like the game, as goofy as the story can be.
So you're going to finish the second playthrough then?
I'm about halfway through the elf country. So you start in the main country in the middle. Then you go to the Dragonland country. I already did that. Then there's the Elf land country, and I'm like halfway through that. After that, there's like the Beast Country up in the north, the snowy lands, and then after that, there's like the Angel Island where all the angels and the Pope live.
How do you play these long ass games multiple times?
Because they're that good. But also, I think for me, for this one especially, is because like the second playthrough, I can try new teams. Because there are like, what did I say? 10 times 5, 50. There's more than 50 characters. That's so many different possibilities for team building. So it's just fun to be
And
like,
at least this mode is giving you some sort of challenge.
yeah, that's the other thing. Because I played on my other playthrough, I didn't play it on the hardest. I think I played on the second hardest. There was 4 difficulties, and I played on the third hardest, I guess. No, second hardest, sorry. And this time I'm playing it on the quote unquote hardest difficulty. And yeah, I mean, again, it is harder. I think the thing that's a lot different now is like some battles, like you can't just win in one go. There's a lot that you can. And the thing about this game that makes it different from like Fire Emblem or Advance Wars or Final Fantasy Tactics or other tactic games is like before you commit to a battle, you'll see the outcome. You'll see like, oh, this is going to wipe out the enemy and you're going to take this much damage. It doesn't break down like if your squad is taking like 50% damage, you don't know who is taking that damage, but you'll still know like your enemy has been wiped out. And it's like you can easily set it up teams so like you wipe out the enemy, they do nothing to you. And just like, okay, I'm going to see if Elaine's squad, how he fares against this guy, this axe guy. Pretty good. Against this armor guy, not so good. Against these flying guys, okay, I'll send him against the axe guy. Like, you know ahead of time who's good against what.
Yeah.
So that kind of defeats a lot of the difficulty because, like, I'm not going to go send him against the guys that are going to wipe him out.
Yeah, that would be dumb.
There's interesting things. And there's also, like, the RNG. I guess the RNG is, like, decided before the battle happens. So, like, sometimes if you accidentally bump into an enemy that has a good outcome against you, you can change the tactics and make it so that like the RNG is re-rolled. And sometimes you can cheese it that way too. Like one of the easiest things to do is like go into your skills and tell them, okay, use this skill instead of this skill, or don't use this skill, and then the RNG will get re-rolled. And sometimes it's like, oh, this time the enemy didn't miss and they got a crit, or you got a crit, or etc.
Interesting.
So
it's not like super predetermined.
No, it's an interesting game. I like it a lot. It has its flaws, but I like it a lot. This will probably be my last time playing through it for maybe forever. I don't know, but for a while for sure. Because it is long. My first playthrough is 115 hours.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do it.
I don't know. I like getting sucked into a game and just like theory crafting and thinking about all the possibilities. And I mean, yeah, I've also been playing Fallout 76. And like that's another game where it's like I could just put hours and hours and hours into that game, and I'm sure I did in my.
Do you
other
think that's still
playthrough.
going to be true? Because you said Fallout 76 now is like stupid baby easy.
Yeah, I mean, I still want to see the new content. I don't know how much I'll play everything else. It's hard to say because I do still like the loop and like going out to different places to explore and ooh, I found this weapon that has this or this weapon that has that. And like when you're leveling up too, like there's also that like you get the booster packs where it's like, oh, here's 5 perks that are random, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna use this one in my loadout because I don't know, I have it. So I kind of like it's not a roguelike, but it has those at the very beginning of the game. It has almost like that feeling of a good roguelike where like get certain things randomly and you just kind of have to like make your build around that. But then again, like sometimes it doesn't really even matter because like, okay, now I've heard that they buffed the laser weapons. I ended up finding a laser weapon and yeah, it's been like crazy overpowered. And one of the things that I've said, yeah, it's easier now is that like they just throw ammo at you like no matter
like confetti.
Yeah, like if you play Fallout 4 and you're playing like on survival or whatever, and like if somebody is using a pistol, they'll have pistol ammo on them. If you have to kill a bug, a mutated bug, or like a crazy rabid dog, they're not going to have ammo.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But in Fallout 76, they just, if you're using a laser pistol, things randomly have laser ammo on them. If you're using a sniper rifle, don't worry. Everyone got the memo. Now they're carrying sniper ammo for you. So it's kind of it kind of makes it so that there's no point in using melee anymore. Whereas
Yeah,
when
that seems kind of, I don't know, mean. Because there's like the whole strength special.
I mean, you still can just for fun, but like it used to be in some of the Fallouts, like you could rely on melee as a backup when you don't have anything, and especially early in the game when you just don't have that much ammo.
Mm.
It's like, well, use your big spiky stick and you'll be okay, and just don't fight things that you would rather fight with a gun
Mm.
until you have you're prepared. But now it's like, don't worry, just pick a weapon and we'll just throw all this stuff at you.
That's unfortunate.
I mean, I don't know if you remember way early Fallout 76. Like, I think the first time I played it was the Wastelander when they brought in the NPCs.
Mm.
But even back then, it was like when you start a game, you start with nothing.
Yeah.
And you have to scavenge. And like one of the first things you find is like this body, and it has like this really bad pistol and like 10, 12 bullets. And sure, you can just use those, but you're not going to guarantee that you're going to get those 12 bullets back. So it's like, if you're fighting just this dog that's attacking you, maybe use that baseball bat you found.
Mm.
But now it's just like, no, go ahead, shoot it. The dog also has bullets on it. Everyone
Yeah,
has bullets.
this dog somehow has 50 bullets.
Yeah, so it's like, I kind of don't like that. But
I wonder why they did it. Is this just an issue that comes up with multiplayer games?
I don't know. I think some people just don't
'Cause
like playing
like,
the game I do. Like I do.
Yeah, that's fair. But also, like, let's go back. I don't know. At this point, it's been probably more than a decade when we used to play World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
And, like, you remember when things were harder, and then, they started doing things, simple things, I guess, like, oh, now if you're looking for flowers or something, it would sparkle.
Yeah.
Or the special items sparkle. And, like, I remember that was a huge kerfuffle in the community because it's like, why do you have to make it easy? Like, okay, for flowers is even, especially with flowers, it's one thing because you can see flowers from like a fucking mile away. There's no reason that they had to make them sparkle. And then like just having the item be like, oh, you have to look for this one particular item in this area, and I'm gonna have this whole description of how to find the area and then get the item. And then they're like, we're just gonna make it sparkle from like a mile away.
It's funny you bring WoW up too, because like, and I will go back to Fallout in a second, but like, there's a lot of like quality, quote unquote, quality of life things that we would mod into the game. Remember, there was like this, it had like a database. You could download a mod and be like, oh, when you click on the quest in your logbook, this mod will show you where you need to go or who to talk to.
Oh, yeah.
And then WoW was like, you know what, we're just putting that into the base game. And then some games like Skyrim will do that, where it's like, oh, you got a quest, here's the marker. And then later on, you'll get games that don't have quest markers, like Elden Ring or whatever. And it's like, some people like that, some people don't. And I think it's the same for Fallout, where it's like, I do like the survival aspect of like, Fallout is a brutal world. It's can be very funny, actually, and stupidly silly. But gameplay and immersion wise, it's supposed to be a post-apocalyptic brutal world where like it's hard to survive. So like, yeah, it is hard to find clean drinking water that won't irradiate you. It is hard to find ammo because people pick up ammo and use it or whatever. So like when I would play Frost on Fallout 4, or even mod Fallout 4 to have like Horizon or other survival modifications to make it harder, like maybe you killed this raider and he had this gun, but when you killed him, he only has like 2 or 3 bullets left or something, and ammo is harder to find. I like that challenge of like, oh, I have like 30 bullets of this and like 50 bullets of that. So I'm going to take these 2 and maybe leave this one behind that I don't have any ammo for. And just that, like the prep of like, it's an adventure prep, I guess. Of like, do I have enough supplies to go do this? And Fallout 76 used to be that way too, where it's like, you start with nothing, you find like 10 bullets. Do you want to use those 10 bullets, or maybe explore a bit with this baseball bat or whatever, this axe you might find, and rely on that for a bit first before you just, waste your valuable ammo on a dog or whatever. But now it's like, well, I guess some people have complained it's so hard to get ammo. We're just going to make everyone just drop ammo so you can just keep on shooting like it's no big deal. And it's just a different game, a different experience.
Now, just because you brought up the bullet issue, do you miss what they had in New Vegas, where you could like get the supplies to create new bullets, right?
Yeah, you can
Or
do that in
use them.
76 actually.
Well, it seems like in 76 you don't really need that anymore.
Not anymore, no,
So,
but
like, would you want that in future Fallout games? Because that would make like I can understand rummaging through some dead person's leftovers and they have like a couple of bullets left. But you should be able to make your own bullets. They didn't have that in 4, did they?
no, they didn't.
So
New
it'd be
Vegas had
in.
a very interesting system with that because, like, yeah, you had to take into consideration the casing and the fuel for the bullets and
Mm,
like extra materials. So like you could only make so many of each bullet. In 76 you can make bullets, but it's like a lot more, the recipes are a lot simpler.
mm,
And that's fine. That used to be a thing. Like there's an excavator power armor, right?
mm.
And if you wear that, you would go into the mines and you would go into a mine that had like a lot of lead and use that excavator power armor to mine for lead because it's way more efficient than doing it by your hands.
Mm.
And that was a gameplay loop. Like, oh, I'm low on ammo. I'm gonna jump in my excavator. I'm gonna go mine, and I'm gonna collect some supplies so I can actually, craft enough ammo to shoot this big gun that I have. But now it's like, if you're using this big gun, don't worry. Dogs and bugs and everyone will keep you filled up.
Weird.
So yeah, it does change things, and I get some people don't like that. Some people just want to go shoot and not like deal with resource management. But I like resource management in games like that. It adds an extra level of, I don't know, thrill, danger, just
I mean, I know when I played Fallout, my favorite thing was just scrounging around for random trash everywhere.
yeah. I mean, think about other games like that, like The Long Dark, right?
Mm.
Imagine if like every single thing you opened had just a ton of food in it. And it's like, don't worry, you don't worry about starving. There's food everywhere. You're looking in a shoebox, there's food. You're looking in this drawer, don't worry, there's a ton of food in there. It's like it just
It just doesn't make sense anymore.
it just becomes a time tax at that point. Like if it's not a resource management thing that you have to worry about and it's just being given to you, why even make it a gameplay element? Like it's it's tough. It's like in some games where eating and drinking are just
They're there, but they don't really give anything for the game.
it's hard. It's hard to say because like in some games they do it differently. Where it's like, oh, it's just buffs. But in some games it's like if you don't eat, you're gonna starve, and that's bad. Obviously, like the Long Dark does that really well.
Mm.
But it's kind of the same thing in like Fallout. Like eventually you just have so much food, you're never in a danger of starving. It just becomes a time tax of going into the menu and doing it.
Mm.
So yeah, well, aside from that, whatever. I enjoy the world. I'll keep playing until I get bored. I want to see the new content, which is like something in New Jersey or something. What is it called? It's a casino-y area. Oh, the name escapes me.
Oh,
Atlantic City.
yeah.
That's it. Yeah. So apparently there's casinos or something. I don't know. It's new. I haven't
So
experienced
is
it.
that's not the new content that's planned to come out, is it?
No, that's already in the game.
Okay. Yeah,
Pittsburgh
it's
is in the game too, but I heard that's not that good.
any idea why?
Well, okay, so Pittsburgh is in Fallout 3, you can go to, is it Pittsburgh? Yeah, Pittsburgh. Sorry, I'm getting Pittsburgh and Philadelphia confused, but it's definitely Pittsburgh. And one of the DLCs is set in Pittsburgh, so when they announced that they were bringing that into 76, people were excited, like, oh wow, we get to go explore that area again. But it's not like this open world section, it's more like dungeons.
That's unfortunate.
So it's like people were kind of, oh yay, we can go explore, Pittsburgh again. But it's more like, well, you can
No, not
explore this
really.
corridor. But apparently, Atlantic City is an area you can walk around in and explore. But I can't say for sure because I haven't been there yet. So we'll see.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if you get like okay, there's I guess the gambling, but
Yeah,
just to see if there's any like new house stuff to put in your house,
that's
like
another.
furniture and some.
That's another tricky thing about 76, where it's like they have a lot of cool stuff, but because it's one of those live service games, like a
Mm.
lot of it is locked behind like,
You have to pay us real money for this.
yeah, they do give you a lot of stuff for free, but then it's also in that whole battle pass thing where it's like you got to earn points, little good boy points to buy this like there's a gorilla statue you can buy, right?
How many good boy points?
I don't know the price of it because you, in on top of the little good boy points, you have to be a certain good boy level. So like, this sounds dumb because it is dumb, but like, you start at level 1, and then it's like you get the dailies, and the dailies are not even quests. They're just like, kill 5 super mutants, repair 3 things today, eat some bubble gum, and if you eat bubble gum, we'll give you 20 good boy points. And once you collect 2,000 good boy points, you're gonna be a level 2 good boy.
Oh boy.
So you have to do all these dumb daily quests every day, and eventually get your good boy level up to like, I'm good boy level 25. I'm finally allowed to buy the stupid gorilla, but then I have to use my good boy tickets, and it's like 50 good boy tickets. Did I eat enough bubblegum and kill enough super mutants and repair enough of my armor? It's really goofy.
Welcome to Good Boy World.
Well, that's what I feel like those battle passes are. Like Genshin Impact was the same way, and I liked Genshin Impact for a while. It has a fun story, it has a beautiful world, and that's really fun to explore. But it also has that thing where it's like, oh, here's the battle pass. In order to earn 10 good boy points today, you have to go to this dungeon. Make sure to do it at least once. It's like every day, go do your dungeon, and we'll give you the 10 good boy points. And once you have enough, you'll be level 3 good boy, and we're going to give you these little things that you can throw at the gacha store.
Man. I mean, I guess the closest thing I have to that right now is the Pokemon Go. And, well, because of that little avatar fiasco, I'm probably not going to do that. But I know how to do this, and it's not even good boy or good girl points at this. Well, I mean, they have the coins, I guess. But it's like, oh, do this daily mission thing and you'll get like 5 Pokeballs or something. Which is even
Yeah.
more silly because my bag is just completely overfull with items
It,
anyways. So then doing these quests is pointless because it's already full.
it's that thing with these like forever games where it's like, come back and play every day because every day your dailies are going to refresh. But they're not interesting quests, right?
Yeah, the same thing again happened back in WoW.
Yeah. WoW might have been, I don't know if they're the start of it, but they were definitely the first time I saw like daily
Dailies.
quests.
Yeah.
And at first I thought, oh, that's cool. It's just going to be, content every day. But it is just like, hey, welcome back to Wrath of the Lich King, where all these zombies are a problem. Go spar and poke each other with these sticks at the fairground or whatever it was. Do you
Oh,
remember?
yeah. With the little squire.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Like,
do kind of miss the squire, though. It's kind of cute.
it's just like every day you would log in and it's like, oh, I gotta do my dailies. I don't remember why we did them, but we did them. Got onto the little horsey and then like ran around like that mini game where like it was a green shield and like a red shield or something. Do you
I
remember?
vaguely remember.
Oh my god! And we would do that every day, and it's like, what did we earn?
The
We
squire?
And how did we get the squire? By turning
Good girl
in
points?
exactly. They called it something else. It's always a different name, but they're good boy points. Good boy, you did the little task we set you to do every day because this is not fun anymore. It's just a job so that you can earn these little tokens and then buy this cute little green dude that'll follow you around.
I admit, when it was the pets, I wanted to do it just because of. I mean, how long do we spend on those quests gathering those eggs so I could get the like ethereal dragon flying
Oh
mount
my
thing?
god, yeah. I mean that. I guess that was the start of it, not Wrath of the Lich King, but it's interesting because like again, Fallout 76 has that too in some ways. Not to that extent, but like there's robots you can buy for your base.
Mm.
And I got like the default Protectron, and he's like gathering stuff, and he's like he gathers materials for you, and he also just is constantly talking in his little Protectron voice. And he's like, "Oh, I found an oil slick today. I am the luckiest robot ever," and just a bunch of dumb little lines, right?
Do you
But
ever want to go up to him and be like, "Shut up"?
I don't mind him too much, but there's like other versions. Like there's a Santa Claus version Protectron, and he'll be like
Jeez.
saying Christmassy things. And there's like different store. You can buy a store. One of the in 76 you can set up a store that other players can come and buy stuff, right?
Mm.
And the default one is just like this locker with a TV on it. But there's also like, ooh, your vendor is a robot. And he's got a little chef hat and he talks. And I had enough to buy one that's like it's the Red Rocket robot. I don't know if you know what he looks like. He kind of looks like the Iron Giant, except he's red.
Okay.
Except he's a vendor that you can buy, and he's wearing like a trench coat and a little hat. And he does the Resident Evil 4 thing of when you go to talk to him, he opens up his coat.
What you buying?
And yeah, and then that's how you buy from him. So it's like, okay,
God.
I had enough good boy points to buy that, so sure, what the hell, I bought it.
So the Goodboy Points made you feel like a good boy.
I had enough, so I'm like, well, what else am I going to use them on? I'll just get this, sure. So, yeah, it's
I
it's
wonder
a
if any
weird thing.
game actually calls them good boy points or good girl points.
It's so condescending.
Yeah,
But
but
it is a
now it
condescending.
sounds fun. Get enough good boy points and you upgrade your good boy level.
Yeah. Be a level 5 good boy allows you to buy the big old shiny gorilla.
This shiny gorilla. I don't know why buying a gorilla statue just seems funny.
That is literally the thing that's at the end of the scoreboard this month.
I'm gonna have to look it up just because it sounds hilarious.
There's also a bunch of other stuff, but that's the one that stood out to me the most. Like, a lot of the other stuff is like, oh, now you can paint your power armor to make it look like a Cyclops. It's like, okay, whatever, I don't care about that. But, like, randomly, this big gorilla statue. It's like, oh, okay, sure. What a weird
So I
game.
guess that would be
That was quite a rant, yeah.
yeah, that is our 2 games for this week, and
That was 3 games.
oh
With
yeah,
a little bit of WoW throw in there, too.
for good measure. Well, I gotta add something to this poor conversation.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's what this podcast is all about. We're just going to talk and talk.
And
And
it's
talk.
almost like what podcasts are made for.
Yeah. It's an outlet to talk. And if we are so boring that people fall asleep to it, that's even better, maybe?
I guess that could kind of be the point.
Well, I like podcasts to fall asleep to. Like, shout out to a few of my favorite ones that like stuff you should know.
Are you gonna name drop?
Should I not?
Oh, I don't know. I don't personally care, but I don't know how other people feel about that.
Well, there's a few podcasts out there that I love that like I like listening to and just like chilling and falling asleep to. And yeah, sometimes I'll miss the last 10 minutes, sometimes I'll miss the last half hour, but it's just nice to have something going on.
Until their until their ads pop up.
Well, yeah, well, we're not going to do ads like that. So, thanks for being with us. If you're trying to fall asleep, sorry you're still awake.
This week we'll end our podcast with what many may call a cult classic song, Donkey Kong Country: Aquatic Ambience.